Visit my Substack for the original article. Sometimes I think I may be losing brain cells. There are things you can do that can actively make you less intelligent, and I think watching these movies qualify. One of them was so dumb it physically hurt, and the other was Godzilla vs. Kong. At least Godzilla vs. Kong has the decency to admit it's not high art, but I'm not letting it off the hook for that. If you can't tell yet, I'm slightly annoyed. Coming off the high of something like Westworld, this was a pretty harsh reminder that we're trapped in this horrendous cycle of unimaginative films that don't know how to do anything new. I also saw Rise of Skywalker, but I refuse to review that disrespectful, methodical teardown of my parents' childhood. Here's the review. Disney, don't ever make another movie again. I know some people will give Godzilla vs. Kong a pass because, you know.
Big monster!
But that's the problem. It is possible to embrace the silliness without going overboard, and these low expectations shouldn't be that low. However, I will take the premise, which is about as silly as you can get, into account, so I won't be as harsh as I'm tempted to be. But Justice League? Warner Brothers' golden child? No, you're all mine. You had all the time, money, and support in the world, and you still managed to create a dumpster fire that sucked away 4 hours of my life. I am all for giving power to the creator, but that means that now, all of the blame falls squarely on the creator when they mess up. And wow, did Snyder mess up. Let's jump in, shall we? Why am I warning spoilers? There's not even a plot. Oh well. Fine, we all knew what this was, and most people walked away satisfied. I'll be honest, I had a great time watching it, but that was mostly because I and my family were laughing the whole time. The basic premise is big lizard fight big monkey and building fall down, and the movie delivers in spades, but there's a lot of creative collateral on the way. The first thing you might notice is that there aren't any titans around from King of the Monsters. Where are they? Don't know. The natives from Kong's Skull Island all died in a big storm, apparently, after surviving for thousands of years on an isolated island that is out to kill every single one of them. How? Don't know. What happened to Charles Dance's eco-terrorist group from King of the Monsters? Don't know. What happened to the Atlantean connection from that movie? Well, that's gone, apparently. There's a new tech giant on the block, Apex Technologies, who have apparently been able to create an absurdly colossal global infrastructure without anyone knowing. How did they do this, and why didn't they show up in previous movies if the technology is so advanced? So advanced that they can apparently send a battery through Wi-Fi. Great signal, by the way, from the center of the Earth. I want your provider. Don't know! That tech might have come in handy, I don't know, in the other movies now, wouldn't it? And don't tell me they created all of this tech in between King of the Monsters and now. You can't tell me that they were able to research, develop, and mass-produce anti-gravity ships within, what, 2 years? That's not even talking about building Mechagodzilla. Oh yeah, you thought there was actually going to be a winner? It was Godzilla. Who could have guessed? Nah, there can only be one. Until they both decide that this town is, in fact, big enough for the two of them. This movie is almost beat for beat Batman vs. Superman, but with kaiju. The writers pushed all the pieces off the board so they can take two of their billion-dollar dinosaur toys and bonk them together for 90 minutes. Consistency? What's that? The result is pretty, sometimes, but we'll get to that, but empty. If you ever wanted to find a physical manifestation of because the script said so, well, here it is.
In water, chimps will drown.
Remember that meme? Yeah, so much for that. The best idea in the world is to send Kong across the ocean. You know, Godzilla's home turf. Then, when predictably, Godzilla proceeds to curb stomp both Kong and the humans, only failing to kill Kong because of human intervention. Humans have to save Kong twice in this film. Match of the century, my foot. They decide to airlift him the rest of the way. I'm sorry, what? Ignoring the logistics of all of this, logistics that fail laughably, by the way, you could have done that the whole time? Why not do that in the first place? Now the US is down several battleships and an aircraft carrier. But hey, it looked pretty when they blew up. Actually, on that note, what is with the CGI in this movie? It looks like something from 2006 at times. You guys pushed this movie way back before COVID. You had the time and the money, but it still looks unfinished. Remember Godzilla 2014? I do, and it was a great movie. Go watch that instead. The effects in that movie were far better, and it is 6 years older than this film. You know what else that movie had? A sense of scale. How big is Kong? Why has Godzilla shrunk? Or maybe he's big again. There is no way to comprehend how big any of these creatures are. One of your jobs as a director is to collect shots to establish things. Things like size. How can the audience be impressed when there is no way to feel the world-shaking scale of these fights? On the smaller side of things, the humans are flat. I'm actually fine with that. It's not really about them, so pulling back is a plus. Which is why we have to sit through the most boring side plot ever that makes me seriously reconsider whether or not Millie Bobby Brown can act. Also, congratulations to Lance Reddick, who got a paycheck and top billing for being partially in the frame for 5 seconds in total.
This is the day we feed. I've given the order, Doctor. The city is being evacuated.
Getting heavy Bryan Cranston vibes here. Brian Tyree Henry is the best part of this movie, and I can't wait to see him in a better film. I also have the upsetting news that Tom Holkenberg made a forgettable score. Bring back Bear McCreary, please. I could also go into the Hollow Earth section, a section that turns this into a full-fledged fantasy film where Kong almost dies a second time to something that's not Godzilla. Kong stands, stay mad. But let's pull back. This is a dumb film. This is an insultingly dumb film. However, no one expected anything more. It's escapism in a crazy year, so I'll give it that. It's a good time if you don't think, and thinking is not something many people want to do much of nowadays. It's a horrible film from a writing perspective, but that's not what we're here for. Do I recommend it? Oh yeah. Grab some buddies and snacks, get ready to cheer, laugh, or groan depending on how you approach the movie. This is about the only piece of monoculture we have left, so enjoy. Please go watch Godzilla 2014. I give this movie 2 out of 10. Oh, Zack, how you've hurt me. You promised me the world, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. It was the studio's fault, you said. They ruined a vision that would change the world and save us from the light, meaningless drivel from the MCU. What you gave us was the exact same movie Joss Whedon gave us, only bloated and with a few more empty payoffs. The only thing I felt during the movie was boredom and infuriation at almost every plotline. The movie is fundamentally broken, perhaps more so than the Whedon cut. I said that Godzilla vs. Kong was a great movie if you turned your brain off. This movie encourages you to think, then hits your now exposed mind with a hammer. If this is what passes for intellectual, smart filmmaking nowadays, then it says a lot about the film surrounding it. A quick disclaimer, I like Zack Snyder's directing style. The color grading could use a pick-me-up, but the slow motion didn't really bother me. Visually, it's absolutely stunning. Sometimes. But that's all it has going for it. Style over substance is the name of the game, and here there is no substance, leaving a 0 in the denominator and killing off the entire equation. I don't want to review this movie because I don't like thinking about this movie. While Godzilla vs. Kong had me rolling with laughter, this movie had me contemplating the choices that led up to the decision to watch this. I have never been this bored during a movie. Rise of Skywalker is unbelievably bad, unbelievably boring, It's definitely the worst film, but at least it's not
4 hours long.
Here are some questions that plagued me during the film. Why doesn't Cyborg save his father? He can touch any technology to the point of reassembling a crushed tape recorder or access closed-circuit cameras remotely. He could just turn off the laser, or, barring that, turn it on when Steppenwolf is in front of it. Do you know how hot 2.5 million Kelvin is?
Okay.
Everything would melt, including the glass protecting everyone, and Silas wouldn't get cut up, he'd explode. It's hotter than the outer layers of the sun. Why? Why is Superman's default setting kill everything that moves? That's pretty scary considering he's Earth's strongest defender. And how, pray tell, did Darkseid, a multiverse-faring alien, forget where the most important planet in the multiverse is? Do you not have the coordinates? Do you have flight logs? Do you have a post-it note? Nothing? Are you like 4 years old? Where's the planet? I forgot. Why is Darkseid, the biggest, baddest, evilest thing in the multiverse, so powerful if he got stomped by Ares, someone Wonder Woman defeated over 100 years ago? Doesn't inspire much confidence, does it? Thanos beat down the Hulk in a matter of seconds. Comparing the two villains shows how one is wanting. Come to think of it, why did Ares get distracted by a parademon instead of going in for the kill? It couldn't be because otherwise the story wouldn't happen, could it? Oh, on top of all that, the world is broken because Flash can time travel whenever he wants without consequences, I guess, so reality doesn't even matter anymore. Just reverse anything that happens so stakes are destroyed in any future movie. The entire plot is full of holes like this. It's an incoherent mess. Notes from the director that didn't make it into the film don't count. And frankly, I lost interest an hour in, which wouldn't be so bad if there weren't 3 more to get through. Just when you think the story is ending, there's an epilogue that goes on for another 30 minutes! And the majority of it doesn't even need to be in the film. It's just set up for 2 more films that will never get made, and thank goodness. I'd love to see a Nightmare film, but not one written by Zack Snyder. Also, the screenwriter for this film, Chris Terrio, wrote Rise of Skywalker. Go figure. Ah well, at least Hulkenberg did better with this score. Maybe that's why Godzilla vs. Kong was so mediocre. All in all, I'm more disappointed than mad. This was supposed to be the fans' victory over the studio executives. It was going to bring in a new era of creator-driven content, saving the movie industry, and you give us this? This almost makes me want to argue in favor of studio meddling. Please, meddle. You can't do worse than this. There are no redeeming themes, no deeper meaning, no standout performances. Nothing here is new, interesting, or even coherent. Here, watch this.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. You gotta break the rule, Barry, and you gotta do it now. Dad. Whatever happens, I want you to know. Your kid was one of them, Dad. One of the best of the best.
That's it. That's the only good part of the movie. And even this falls apart in the context of the film. Watch this without context, take in the visuals, sound design, and acting, and pretend it's in a better film instead of this cliched mess. Don't watch this. I give it a 1 out of 10.